Joey Logano just exposed the one problem that Connor Zilisch cannot escape, no matter how much talent he has. And after what happened this past weekend at Chicagoland Speedway, it is impossible to ignore any longer. Connor Zilisch is only 19 years old, and he was supposed to be the next big name in the NASCAR Cup Series. Instead, he cannot seem to catch a single break. Connor Zilisch was dubbed a generational talent before he ever made his full-time jump to the Cup Series, and the numbers behind that label are hard to dispute. In the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, Connor Zilisch won 13 career races and came within a whisker of capturing the 2025 championship, ultimately losing that battle to Jesse Love at Phoenix Raceway. His most recent O'Reilly Series victory came at Watkins Glen International in May 2026. Based on that resume, Trackhouse Racing signed Connor Zilisch to a multi-year contract that runs through 2027, placing him in the No. 88 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 and handing him the seat previously occupied by Daniel Suarez, who departed the organization after 5 seasons. Everyone expected an immediate impact once Connor Zilisch joined Trackhouse Racing full-time alongside teammates Ross Chastain and Shane Vegas-Bergen. Before reaching NASCAR's top series, Connor Zilisch built one of the most decorated young resumes in American motorsports. He began racing go-karts at age 5 and spent a decade in karting before transitioning into cars in 2021. Along the way, he won the Mini Rock World Championship in Italy and became the first American to ever win the SICK FIA Karting Academy Trophy in 2020. He moved into the Mazda MX-5 Cup and Trans Am ranks, then climbed through late-model stock cars and the ARCA Menard series, winning consistently at nearly every level. In 2024 and 2025, driving for Junior Motorsports in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, he recorded 10 wins in a single season and set a series record with 18 consecutive top 5 finishes, numbers that fueled the enormous expectations now surrounding his Cup Series career. The Cup Series has told a completely different story. NASCAR returned to Chicagoland Speedway on Sunday, July 5, 2026 for the Eero 400, and that race summed up Connor Zilisch's entire rookie season in a single moment. Connor Zilisch started the race in 21st place, a position that is typically considered safe. That safety disappeared within seconds of the green flag. As the field swept through the opening turns, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. got squeezed toward the outside wall. Eric Jones then made contact in that same area, which sent Ryan Preece spinning directly into the path of Connor Zilisch. NASCAR described the situation plainly, stating that there was nowhere for Connor Zilisch to go. His car was collected in the chaos, spun around, slid across the racing surface, and slammed hard into the inside wall. The front end of the No. 88 Chevrolet was destroyed. Over the radio, Connor Zilisch could be heard saying, "We're destroyed. I am sorry, guys, oh my. Can't get anything to go for me." His day ended immediately, and he finished dead last. That result was not an isolated incident. It was part of a pattern that has defined his entire rookie campaign. In his last 7 races, the No. 88 car has been involved in a wreck on 5 separate occasions. Connor Zilisch has finished 30th or worse a total of 9 times this season. He crashed in 3 consecutive races at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Nashville Superspeedway, and Michigan International Speedway. He then ran 23rd at Pocono Raceway, only to crash again the following week and finish 37th at the Naval Base Coronado event in San Diego. Heading into Chicagoland Speedway, his average finish sat at 27th, with 6 race-ending mechanical or crash-related failures already on the year. He currently sits 34th in the Cup Series standings, a position worse than every other full-time driver with the exception of Cody Ware. There was one bright spot before the Chicagoland disaster. The week prior, at Sonoma Raceway, Connor Zilisch finally broke through with his first top 10 finish of the season, crossing the line in 7th place. Afterward, he sounded relieved, saying, "It felt good to have a clean run. We needed a day like this to go into next week with something to build on." That momentum lasted exactly 1 week before it was erased on the opening lap at Chicagoland Speedway. Before that breakthrough, Connor Zilisch had already spoken publicly about how steep this learning curve would be. He explained that the car itself leaves little room for error, describing it as very on edge and adding that mistakes and difficult days were inevitable as he adjusted to the Cup Series level of competition. He also said that every driver in the Cup Series had once been a champion or dominant winner somewhere else. Yet at this level, nobody truly dominates, which is part of what makes the adjustment so difficult to understand from the outside. Joey Logano, a three-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, decided to speak directly about what Connor Zilisch is experiencing. Joey Logano explained that he understands the situation better than almost anyone currently in the garage, arguably even more than he relates to fellow young driver Carson Hocevar. Joey Logano was once the same type of hyped-up prospect that Connor Zilisch is now, having also come up through dominant performances in what is now called the O'Reilly Series. On a recent podcast, Joey Logano stated, "Connor was dubbed that guy and he was that in the O'Reilly Series just like I was when I started over there. Won my third race." He continued by describing the trap that young star drivers fall into once they reach the sport's top level, saying, "This whole hype, living up to the hype, get to the cup level, uh-oh." He added that this exact scenario happened to him during his first 2 years, admitting, "This wasn't what I was expecting. These guys are really, really good." And that's fact. Joey Logano identified the core issue that Connor Zilisch cannot simply out-talent his way around. According to Joey Logano, the jump from the O'Reilly Series to the Cup Series is the single largest jump in all of motorsports. He stated it directly, saying, "The jump from the O'Reilly Series to the Cup Series is the largest jump in motorsports, period. Hands down, there's not a larger jump from a talent level. Everybody in the Cup Series can go to the O'Reilly Series and win today, every single one of them." To illustrate the point, Joey Logano shared a story from his own early career, when he initially assumed that drivers running toward the back of the Cup Series field were not particularly skilled. He recalled, "I thought those guys that run in the back every week, I'm like, they suck. I can beat them." And then I'm watching them just laying 2 black marks off the corner. I'm like, holy cow, these guys are really good. And I couldn't keep up. Joey Logano made it clear that the deciding factor at the Cup Series level is not raw ability, since Connor Zilisch already possesses that in abundance. Instead, it comes down to small details that can only be learned through years of experience. Joey Logano explained, "The drivers knowing what they need in their team, in their car, and how to just manipulate so much stuff, that's what makes them great, and it takes years to do it. Connor will do it." He referred to Connor Zilisch as a diamond in the rough, stating that the young driver simply needs enough time in the sport to fully develop. Joey Logano knows this process firsthand because he nearly did not survive it himself. He was once considered a can't-miss prospect for Joe Gibbs Racing, yet he lost that ride following the conclusion of the 2012 season and found himself without a job in the sport. Roger Penske then gave him a second opportunity, a decision that eventually led to 3 Cup Series championships. Joey Logano acknowledged how close that outcome came to never happening at all, saying, "I almost lost my chance. I was this close to not making it. Forget 3 championships, not making it. Not driving race cars. And we need to give these younger guys a chance to keep up and catch up." The struggles facing Connor Zilisch are not isolated to him alone. Trackhouse Racing as an organization has faced a difficult season across the board. Ross Chastain, who advanced to the Championship 4 during the 2023 playoffs, currently sits around 22nd in the standings. Shane Van Gisbergen is positioned 14th, a ranking driven largely by his success on road courses, where he has already secured 2 wins this season. Earlier in the year, Joey Logano even commented on air during a race broadcast about the speed of the Trackhouse Racing cars, remarking that both 97 and No looked capable of causing chaos on the track, calling them weapons and predicting they would eventually crash into other competitors. This context frames the issue as a broader team-wide slump rather than a problem unique to Connor Zilisch. Joey Logano also addressed a separate but related topic during the same podcast appearance, one that clearly still affects him. He discussed the difference in how fans treat him compared to how they treat fellow young driver Carson Hocevar. Joey Logano has long been viewed as one of the sport's villains, a reputation he has been unable to shake even now. He explained, "To this day, I still get booed like you wouldn't believe for the things I did when I was 19 years old." He then pointed to Carson Hocevar, noting, "This kid comes in and wrecks way more people than I ever did, and people love him." Despite the frustration in his tone, Joey Logano was not condemning Carson Hocevar. Instead, he praised him, stating, "I think Carson's great for the sport. He brings a ton of new fans. The way he speaks, he's just younger." This comparison raises a genuine question about how fans will eventually treat Connor Zilisch. When a young driver struggles and crashes as frequently as he has, it remains uncertain whether fans will extend patience toward him, or whether they will turn on him the same way they turned on Joey Logano decades earlier. This same theme has echoed across the broader NASCAR community as Connor Zilisch's rookie season has unfolded. Veteran driver Mark Martin weighed in publicly on the situation, noting that the Cup Series can humble any driver regardless of how talented they are, and pointing out that very few rookies arrive and immediately dominate the way Tony Stewart did during his own rookie campaign, when he secured 3 wins, 12 top 5 finishes, and 21 top 10 finishes. That perspective reinforces exactly what Joey Logano has been saying about how rare instant success actually is at this level of the sport. Friends of Connor Zilisch within the garage, including fellow drivers Zane Smith and Noah Gragson, had also warned him before his rookie season began that the difficulty of fighting for a lucky dog position or celebrating a top 20 finish would not fully make sense until he experienced it himself. Connor Zilisch will get another opportunity to change his season's trajectory on Sunday, July 12 at Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta. After the stretch of results he has endured, a clean, wreck-free finish would represent significant progress. The message from Joey Logano remains consistent throughout his comments. Connor Zilisch has the talent required to succeed at the highest level of the sport. What he needs now, according to a driver who lived through nearly the exact same circumstances, is simply enough time to translate that talent into results.